morning, guys. Good morning. Happy, beautiful, blessed new week to each and everybody, including myself. How are you guys doing on this beautiful Monday morning? I just came by to say good morning to each and everybody and to wish you all a beautiful beginning of a new week in the 11th month. Mark Twain said that the secret to getting ahead is getting started. He said the secret to getting ahead in life or in anything that we do is getting started. Right? You have to get started in order to do anything, to accomplish anything. If you don't get started, nothing you want in this life will ever be accomplished. So the secret to getting ahead is getting started. If you want to become a billionaire, you have to get started working towards becoming a billionaire. If you want to be a nurse, a doctor, a plumber, any career path, what's the first step? You first have to get started. How do you get started in becoming a successful business individual? You either go to a trade school to obtain some type of certificate or certification that is within the range of that business, or you take the educational route where you go to school, whether it's 4 years degree, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, how many amount of years that you will need to become that person. It all boils down to getting started. If you want to become a store owner, you have to take the proper steps. How do you take the proper steps? You get started by taking the proper steps. You do your research, you obtain your certificate, you start going around either asking questions, or you go in a seminar or hanging out with people who already are in that field to learn the ropes. And if you don't have that helping hand, you do your research, you get started, and then you're already ahead. How do we wake up early in the morning to come to our day? I have practiced that laziness does not take you anywhere, right? I know that sleeping all day, you don't accomplish anything. It's the early birds, you don't miss anything. Sleeping all day, you would not accomplish anything. You would talk to yourself, you would tell yourself you want to accomplish all of these things. But if you don't get started early with your day, we have 24 hours. If you don't get up early to start off your day, how are you supposed to get ahead of anything or anybody? When you come to work, if you're supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock and you ask your supervisor to let you come at 7, why is it that you want to come at 7? Because you want to get started. You want to get ahead of everybody. Because once you enter the building at 7 o'clock, wherever your job might be or your job is, there's a little bit of peace and quiet. You got 1 hour to accomplish thousands of things, whether it's 3 or 4, before everyone else starts to come in and distraction starts to come in. So the secret of getting ahead is getting started early. If we don't get started, we will never be able to accomplish anything we want in this life. If you want a successful relationship, you want a successful marriage, you want a marriage of respect, you want a marriage of fruitfulness, transparency, a marriage of communication, great communication, honesty, what do? You start working on yourself early before God can send you your partner. Once you start working on yourself and your patience, and you keep praying, God will send you somebody who also have been looking for the same thing as you, because you started ahead. You started early to get ahead, right? Everything in this life, for us to get ahead, we have to get started first. If you don't fast and pray, if you don't get ahead of the enemies, of the evil plots and the evil plans against you, they will get ahead of you. So how do you get ahead of them? You get ahead of them by making sure that you are in the beginning and the end of the month. Some people go the middle of the month and the end of the month, or the beginning and the middle of the month. And some people do all three. You don't know who your enemies are, but they'll always want to be ahead of us, right? So you always got to go ahead of them by going into it and crying to God and giving your supplications to God. Even when it comes to success, we go ahead. We get started by going to God and crying and committing and submitting whatever it is that we want to do. Like the Habakkuk said, write down your vision and make it plain, right? You write it down and you go to God. You commit, you submit, and you do the work. Just because you submit and commit and you don't do the work, miracle is not going to fall into your hands. It's not going to come from the sky and fall into your hands. That's not going to happen. So in life, whenever we want to get ahead, we first have to get started early. That's the secret of getting ahead. Is that you having a kid and you start teaching your kid how to be a successful individual at a very early, tender age, before they hit the 10 years, before they hit that high school level. Then you wonder why most of the rich children take over their family empires at a very young age, some of them in high school. Why? Because their parents gets them ready at a very young age, because they know the secret to getting ahead is to get started at a very young age, or to get started early. So if you teach your child about success, you teach your child about business, how to obtain, how to move ahead in life from a very young age. As that child gets older and you're teaching them the ropes, they then become ahead of their peers in life. While their peers are going to parties, they're drinking, going to the beach, going for vacation, that older child head is in a book, learning more about that family business, learning how to become a successful head when father can no longer do, or when mother can no longer do, how to run that business successfully despite their age. In life, it's just simple. Very simple. It's easier said than done, but it's not difficult either. Once we get started, we will always be ahead. We get started with God in the beginning, God in the middle, God at the end. Give it to Him and do the footwork. Happy, beautiful, blessed Monday. Just the same way that it takes courage to grow up and become who you really want to become, that successful individual, that you want to set yourself apart from everyone else. You want to be that person. You want to set yourself apart. It takes courage. That's the same old way it takes getting started to get ahead of the things that you want to do in life. Not most people, but just getting ahead of things. Just at a certain point in life, you reach a certain age, you start to regret and say, if I have known, if I had somebody to tell me, if I. But like I always say, age ain't nothing but a number. In a sense of you could be 50 and still chase your dream. It's about how are you chasing that dream? What are your plans of getting to that dream of yours? And how you want to go about that dream of yours? How are you going to get ahead? How are you going to get started now that you have missed for the summer years of your life, of declining yourself? Now you're ready to improve your life. How do you get started? How do you get ahead? Because sometimes we allow the age to play a role in most of the decisions that we make. And it's almost like sometimes when you don't have your high school diploma, or you don't have your GED, or you don't even have your middle school certificate, you tend to say, well, I'm already 35. What am I going to do to sit around kids, to sit with kids, to obtain? It's not about sitting with the kids. Those kids that you were sitting with, they might laugh at you. They might make fun of you. They might say, well, what is she or he doing here? I thought they're supposed to be ahead. But it's about your drive. It's about how hungry you are. It's not how you start, where you start. It's about how motivated you are to get started, to get ahead. Because as long as we have life, we can breathe and we're healthy, we're mobile. We can still get ahead. We can still get started to get ahead and have the courage to live the life that we always wanted to live, that we dream of as a child, that we dreamed of, that we wanted to become. And sometimes it's our own default. Sometimes it's the work of the enemies, but you don't give them the victory. But it's about your work ethic. It's about how hungry you are, how motivated you are, how driven you are to get ahead. Happy, beautiful, blessed Monday to each and everybody. You guys have a wonderful day out there. Remember, as I always say, how you start off your day is how you're going to end your day. If you start off your day with a negative mindset, if you start off your day doubting yourself, if you start off your day not believing in yourself, but instead tearing down yourself, demotivating yourself, that's how the rest of your year is going to be, because you're going to build up that negative mindset, that negative thinking, that negative thoughts process, that you are not capable of doing anything, that you are incapable. Meanwhile, you have all of the skills, the talents is sitting in your hand. You have the ability. You just don't have the drive. You don't have the courage. You don't have the self-encouragement to give to yourself, oneself. This is why you're doubting yourself. So erase and cancel every negative mindset, every negative spirit, every negativities that will pop into your head to tell you that you are not good enough. Look at yourself in the mirror and let it be known and say, listen, I am talking to me, self. Listen, you have no power. You have no authority over me. I am a child of God. I know that I can take this step. I know that I can get started to get ahead. I know that I am able to get ahead. I just have to self-encourage myself. I have to pray to God to give me the strength to be able to get started. It's all about getting started to get ahead. Okay? You guys have a wonderful morning. Again, this is your girl, Grace Harris, a.k.a. The Boss Lady, a.k.a. Naomi Harrington. Have a wonderful day. God blessings to each and every one of us. Okay?